Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Marine Drive in downtown Mumbai. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Sleep In Sunday. That's interview day. No, you did sleep in. What time is it in New York? 8:30. Right? You get to sleep in a lot.
Yeah.
And today is the day that we have special interviews going on today. We bring on a guest, pick their brain, talk to them, find out their story. People that we find are interesting, learned, clever, something to share with all of us. We have a special guest today, Nityananda Prabhu. Say Hari Bol, Nityananda.
Hare Krishna.
Now, before we get into our guest life, we have announcements, or you want to reflect on yesterday's the wind-up, Kaustubha, the wind-up of the Flower Festival?
Well, should we do the announcements first, and we could talk just a little bit about the Flower Festival before we bring on our guest?
Let's bring on Mara. Mara, spinning the dials back here.
Good morning.
Morning.
We have no show tomorrow because we'll all be traveling, and then we will be at 8:30 a.m. the same time this whole week, if that's good for you, Kaustubha.
Oh, let's maybe we can talk about that.
Okay. We'll get back to you about that.
We have to say Tuesday. We have to tell them about Tuesday, right?
It seems a little late for me. I'll be keeping Geet Dupree up every night.
7 o'clock?
7
right? Isn't
7
that
o'clock
7
our
to 8
time?
p.m. Yep, 7 p.m. Indian time.
Yeah, can we discuss it later? And maybe you can let everyone know via the other channels what time will be on Tuesday.
Sure. And then also we have Bhakti Recovery Group meeting at 9:30 a.m. right after the show online, and one live at the Bhakti Center today in person at 10:30 a.m.
Okay. Now, if it hasn't occurred to everyone, you might be able to tell we look kind of tired today, right? I think we're a little disorganized and tired. How about you, Raghunath?
Yeah. I'm not tired. I slept in. How about that? I slept in. I didn't go to bed that late. I left before the feast yesterday.
I know.
But it was an amazing flower festival. You know what? I stopped eating at night, and it's the smartest choice I ever made. Thank you, Mara.
Okay.
And she's been a good influence on me, and it's been great. And I've been, I'm obsessed. Instead of scrolling through social media feeds, my new obsession, here's the deal. You're going to be obsessed with something, want to get obsessed with something healthy. So I'm obsessed with my health app on my phone, where it marks how many steps I took per day. And today I am at, ready?
Yeah.
18,630 steps. Boom.
All right.
And I'm feeling good. We're gonna hit 20,000 before the night closes.
Okay.
Right now it's 7 p.m. at night.
If you need to run around the hotel room a bit during the show, just let me know.
You know what? I have one of these minds that gets obsessed with stuff. So why not do it towards things that are going to sort of like
healthier.
healthier.
Okay. Well, in
If I
any
wasn't
case,
scrolling in that hell, if I wasn't scrolling on that app, I'd be scrolling on,
something else.
animal attack videos. So
Okay. Well, in any case, it was an absolutely beautiful festival yesterday. It was what a celebration. There's nothing quite like it. Unless you've been there, you can't really understand just how dynamic it is and beautiful it is. It's flower petals, tons of them, literally flying through the air. It's snowing flowers, and people are throwing them at each other like a big snowball fight or something like that, with lots of kirtan going on.
There's something magical about a flower,
There is.
right? It's like,
Yes.
because even if you say something like that, everybody likes, like you could say everybody likes bananas. Not true. There are people that are allergic to bananas, do not like bananas. I think bananas are sort of a universal perfect food, but certain people will argue with me, not lots, but there is a demographic of everybody likes flowers. Everybody likes them.
So.
No one says I hate flowers. So,
Yeah.
and there is what do you call it? The spiritual geometry, right?
The symmetry in it. Yeah.
Symmetry, sacred geometry.
There's a symbolism.
Call it.
Yeah.
There's a scent of a flower. There's like the feel of a flower. It's not a piece of paper. It's not water. It's something weird, texturing. You can't feel it. It's soft, right?
Yeah.
And different colors, different shapes. And again, that symmetry, again, the scent can be intoxicating. What's that flower, that night blooming jasmine? They call it the Rut Rani, night queen.
Ratrani.
Oh my God, right?
Yes.
Rut Rani.
Yes.
So wonderful, right? It's just like intoxicating.
Or what is the other one? Raja Ganda? Is it that also? Is the There's the gardenia. Do you know?
Oh, the gardenia, yeah.
Incredibly fragrant.
It's next level stuff. So everybody loves flowers, and here we are, a festival celebrating with tons of flower petals falling from the sky, and eventually people take them, they lift them in their hands, and they dump them on each other's heads. And I noticed that emotions come up that maybe they've never ever come up before. When you take emotions and dump them over someone you barely know's head and sprinkle them over the head, it's a cross. You connect with that person in a weird way. It's not a sexual connection. It's not a friendly connection, because sometimes it's done a little naughty, like woohoo. You're like dumping them on their head. It's not flirty, but it is but you are connecting with them. There's something I noticed, just emotions that I've never had rising up, and I was like, what is this feeling? And I'm here with Scranton Davy and Catherine A. They're all like nodding their head too. Yeah, you can't quite understand it. And they were just everybody was, and you can't help but smile and laugh and laugh again. And you're getting smothered sometimes with hundreds of flower petals. It's quite amazing.
Meanwhile, the kirtan's going on, and everyone's just kind of joyfully circled around Radha and Krishna in a blissful pastime. Really special.
Yeah, really special. And so after that, I said a few goodbyes, and I just sort of cut out. My usual modus operandi is I do that whole festival, and I stuff myself like a holiday pig, and regret it for like a day later. And this one, I went to bed early. I walked back to the hotel, which was great, adding to my 18,000 plus steps yesterday. And it was quite wonderful.
Good for you, Raghunath.
Thank
So
you,
why don't we
friend.
bring on our guest?
All right, Nityananda, welcome to the show. It's been a while.
Both of you talking like music. It seems like it should go on forever.
We do plenty of this.
We do. We just keep going until people go away. They keep going. Yeah.
But maybe I can share a few words about Nityananda, my friend here.
What's the backstory?
Well, I think I met Nityananda Prabhu back in the 90s, probably, right? When did you move into the ashram at Chopati?
Yeah, 90s.
So when I think when I first started coming around in the late 90s, I got to know you. You were working closely with Gauranga Prabhu, who's a friend of mine. And Nityananda Prabhu was just some combination of different things. On one hand, very simple monk, very simple brahmachari in the ashram. And and we'll talk about that ashram and the training and what it was like there. Really elite training there. Really good monks, good-hearted and following, the Dharma in a really, really authentic way. And but also very learned and with a great sense of humor too. I always found too. But born and raised down at the southern tip of India, deep within the culture, the ancient lineage, the Ramanuja's lineage, the Sri Vaishnava lineage. So it's another flavor of Krishna Bhakti that he grew up in. And then later in his life, he came over to the Bengali lineage, the Gaudiya Vaishnava. But we'll hear about that, But just a special person and very learned Sanskrit scholar. So all these things we'll talk about.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Hi Krishna, I'm privileged and so happy to be with all of you. First time I'm meeting many of you, most of you, except Raghunath Prabhu and Kaustubha. It's great, wonderful. So I thank Kaustubha Prabhu, Raghunath Prabhu that he has given me opportunity to meet all of you today.
So why don't we start with your youth? Now, just tell us a little bit about where you were born and raised, and maybe a little bit about that lineage that you were kind of brought up in.
Well, I was, as Kaustubha Prabhu was telling, that I was born in southern tip of India, almost the southern tip, you can say. So it's a beautiful place called Rameshwaram, where the great pastime of Ramayana took place. So next to that there is a small village. So and our family is coming from there. So I was born there, and you see, when we were grown up there, we are not so much of it's not like city and all, simple place. So we are not very well educated in English and all. But it was a very beautiful and simple lifestyle, and we grew up there. And our family's lineage is pujaris, they worship the temple deities there.
So going back in your family, there were the priests in the temple.
Yeah. So that was a good experience. So I got a combination of the modern school education, whatever available, at the same time our traditional temple atmosphere also. It was a kind of interesting combination.
Was chanting Vedic mantras part of your youth, that kind of thing?
Yeah, some not. It used to be a great tradition, but as the time progresses, we were doing modern education as well as tradition. So it's not fully Vedic, think like that.
But you were memorizing these chants?
Some of the Vedic mantras we memorized and we used to offer to the deities, yes.
What was your favorite one?
Purusha Shuktam.
Purusha Shuktam. Good stuff.
Purusha Shuktam is what the demigods offer to Lord Vishnu. Is that what it's?
Yes, exactly. The demigods offer that is the communication to get the attention of Krishna, Mahavishnu. Whenever there is a problem or anything, they go there and they chant this mantra and they get communion with the Supreme Lord. Yes.
Beautiful prayer.
Fascinating. Why do I feel
Sahasra Shirsha Purusha? That's the one, right?
Yes. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat. This kind of goes.
Love it. Why do I feel like when you said you had traditional schooling, it was nothing like our schooling, Kaustubha? When he says traditional school, it was not like an American high school.
No idea.
No, you have no idea what you missed out on. All the fun we had. I'm just totally kidding. Yeah.
So as a boy, you were
growing up in India. Traditional.
So you had this traditional bhakti influence from your forefathers. You were chanting Vedic mantras. You were studying the text even as a youngster, like commentaries, Ramanuja, that kind of thing, or Ramayana.
Yeah. See, my mother, when you come from school, we do our little household activities. Then at night when you go to sleep, my mother will be in the middle and my sister will be on the other side and I'll be on the next other side, So my mother will be middle. I will go to sleep. She would tell us Ramayana stories.
Oh, how about that, Raghunath?
So those times we
sweet.
never had any mobile or television was not there so much, So our television is my mother telling the story. So those stories comes in our mind, Ramayana. I was born near Rameshwaram. So how Ram, he went to Sri Lanka and how Ravana kidnapped his wife and what happened after that. So much exciting stories. And then she would stop in a particular point. What is the next,
She would quiz you like, okay, what happens next?
Yeah. So those are interesting,
Raghunath does that with his kids, that kind of thing, right?
I do. I read, I tell them stories, I quiz them. Yeah.
Sometimes
it
pay
never
some money
gets
if they do
old.
good.
It never gets old.
Were you reading the Amar Chitkata kind of books?
Yeah. Some books, those time the entertainment is reading books also. So we used to get some of the comics books. Many of them are Mahabharata stories, and also some nice socials. For example, I'll just share one interesting about friendship.
Or like lessons that were there in the comic books?
Yeah. Comic book, it also gives some moral principles, some kind of lessons. So about the friendship, it came, how friendship should be.
Now keep this in mind, Raghunath, and how you deal with me, okay?
I got you. Tell me about how to be a friend.
And I'll keep it in mind too.
Please.
Like I was reading a book, in that it comes about, I was going to school. So sometime I see in the school you get different kinds of friends. Some are very really friends, some are just want to be friend with you to get things done. So different kinds of people we meet. You're talking about, we also had some schools of different varieties, some fun and some difficulties. So then my mother was telling me, I reading certain part of this books. She tell friendship should be like this. She's a cook also, she cooks for us. So she boils milk. And in India those time we had simple stove with wooden stove. We put the milk pan and milk is there.
You were cooking with wood.
Wood cooking, not wood,
Cooking with
sometimes
wood.
coal cooking also.
Coal, okay.
Coal also. So then the milk gets, we put the milk in the pan, and mostly many time the milk vendor who brings milk, in order to get some extra money, he adds little water also.
Watering it down.
Yeah, that old trick.
So my mother told me that when you add the water in the milk, and the milk actually gives its qualities to the water. I mean, the water also becomes white in color. So the milk shares a white color. Like a friend's milk is like a friend, water is like another friend. So milk shares his quality to his friend, his or her friend.
Okay. I
And
get where we're going with this story.
so that should be a friendship. Then the water feels that I don't any qualification, my friend is sacrificing his qualities to me, so better that I should not take undue advantage. So when you put the milk in the heat, the pan, then the milk gets boiled and water gets gradually evaporates.
It evaporates out.
So the friends think that I should not take undue advantage of my friend, let me extinguish myself. So then the milk is thinking, oh, my friend is leaving me, how can I live in this world? So milk boils and want to jump in the fire to commit suicide.
Very creative.
I can't live without my friend. So then, in Indian villages, you can't see, it's not like our gas stove or this electric stoves now we got. You can control temperature. So in order to save the milk, if they take the pan, it's very hot also. It's not like a wooden handle or something. It's brass pot. So in order to save the milk, immediate effect is that what they do is that they take a glass of water and take some water in the hand and put it on the milk, boiling milk, which is coming up. So then the milk goes down, So the milk is spilling. So the milk is spilling. I got my friend back. So it goes down, So my mother was telling this story just to give an understanding that this should be friendship, real friendship should be, So these kinds of stories we are hearing and growing up,
Very nice. Nice stories.
That's nice. Hey, there's a message on the board, Nityananda Prabhu. How would you describe the differences between the South Indian Vaishnavism and the Gaudiya Vaishnavism? Do they chant japa also, like we chant japa, sing bhajans as we sing bhajans? How is it different in the rituals?
See, in South India, Sripad Ramanujacharya and Sri Madhvacharya, these are the two main acharyas.
Great teachers from 800 years ago, 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, 1,000 years before Sripad Ramanujacharya and 800 years ago Sripad Madhvacharya. Yes. So these two acharyas came at the time where politically and historically India was undergoing some kind of turmoil, difficult situation. So their great task is to bring this Bhakti culture back. That was their strong, desire. There's a mission. So they brought it according to their time, place, circumstances by bringing people close to God by giving them the culture which is very close to their heart, how things are going on in the world that time. So those time the villages, the Indian lifestyle is very sattvic and not so much of distraction. So along with that, they're bringing the world to the bhakti culture. So mainly they were doing this by reinforcing a tradition of um, a moral lifestyle, as well as a Vedic traditional lifestyle, as well as without compromising your worldly life. Generally, sometimes people think spiritual life, worldly life means you have to give up your pleasure, your happiness, and very austere, and you have to be suffer in spiritual life. No, it's not like that. So they beautifully connected both the aspect. So in such a way that you are like in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna and Arjuna wanted to run away from his responsibility, wanted to go to forest for begging. Krishna brought him back, and he made him to live in this world at the same time, advance spiritually also. So that way, Sripad Ramanuja gave a lifestyle in such a way that you will be able to advance in spiritual life also. You are happy in this life also. So the rituals were there. At the same time, you were talking about flower festival. Yesterday we had a great flower festival. So similarly, a lot of festivals are introduced, and all the festivals are as offering of bhakti. At the same time, it is also enjoyable, relishable. So there are big festivals would be there. All are centered around the deities, temples, and those who are expert in singing, they are brought into the temple. Those who are expert in sculptures, they are brought into the temple. They build beautiful temples. And those who are expert in cooking, they become cook, and they are cooking. They cook for the deities. And those are expert in Vedic mantras, Brahmanas, they brought there. So all
danced into drama.
Yes, every art, everything focused on one temple culture. At the same time, and the temple gives them back everything. So they get to hear good music. Like yesterday, we enjoyed great flower festival. So it is bhakti, it's devotion, it is spiritual. At the same time, it is enjoyable. So it's not that you have to go somewhere and suffer.
I get
That's
it.
kind of.
So this is
Kaustubha, sometimes I hear these things like in the old days, or sometimes people in Italy or Spain, they go to church in the morning, then they go to church at noon, then they go to church in the day. But the whole thing is sort of sad. It's like they're going to the church, they're praying for someone who's dying, they're lighting a candle, they're crying, they're kneeling down again, they're praying again. It's like, it's almost like I'm going there because I'm desperate and the world is a painful place. And I get it. The world's filled with pain. I get that. There's painful people in my life. Every season of life, there's more painful people. They come and then they go. But it's like, must my connection with God be pain-based? And I was noticing yesterday, okay, I'm leaving the temple. I'm not going to eat the feast. The festivities were going on. Out of all people, Walter comes up to me. Now, you don't know Walter, Nityananda, but Walter's an old friend of mine who's not really that exposed to spiritual life. But Walter goes to me, that was the most ecstatic, incredible time ever. I mean, God, flowers, throwing flowers in everybody. So at this point, all our people were leaving and going down to eat. But I was like, well, did you just come down? He goes, yeah. But I go, because it's time to eat now. And he goes, no, I'm going back up there. How long does this go for? I was like, I think it just keeps going. He goes, all right, I'm going to go. I've never experienced anything like this. It's crazy. Yeah. As I was leaving the temple, just hordes of more people coming. And I realized, like, I get it. This is all engulfing joy. Who needs to go to the movies? Who needs to go to the mall? Who needs to sit home and watch Netflix? This is your fun. You have a community of people based around festivals, getting together. Yeah, even on the dead nights, even on the nights where it's not a festival, a bunch of people coming, and sort of a solemn but sweet and sort of family-oriented thing. You come around, you sit around the temple, and you just sing. Yeah. What a nice way to, and then they eat a little. Yes. What a nice way to wind down your evening.
Little storytelling, maybe.
Little storytelling.
He's speaking the direct experience.
Okay, so now you've established that Ramanuja, they brought in culture, they brought in architecture, they brought in arts, they brought in a lifestyle where you could be in this world, but not of it. You could be practicing deeply spiritually. You don't have to run off to the forest. Okay, now, but we still haven't heard about the Gaudiya Vaishnavism in the
Yeah.
connection.
Well,
So-
do you
so
do you chant japa? I mean, before you answer that, do you chant japa?
Yeah,
in-
yeah.
in-
See,
in-
Ramanujacharya,
South India?
basically, all the acharyas, what they are doing is that they are bringing people to Krishna. In the essence, goal is the same, but the methodology they gave, there are some differences.
There
So,
you go.
what Ramanujacharya did was, he was giving mantra, also a lifestyle, and also he gave varieties of programs according to the people's physical, mental, statuses. During Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, as the age was progressing, he wanted to make it very simple and more, as we're talking about, varieties of people everywhere. So they made it very, very simple. So Ramanujacharya's time, they were given 3 mantras. One is called as Om Namo Narayanaya. This is called as Ashtakshari mantra, 8-syllable mantra.
Om Namo
What is it?
Narayana.
Om Namo Narayanaya.
And also another mantra, this is called as one of the most important verses from the Bhagavad Gita is called Sarva Dharman Parityajya. This is called as Charama Shlokam, or the final lesson of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the second mantra he gave. Third mantra is called Dvayam. Dvayam means 2-sentence mantra. Shriman Narayana Charano Sharanam Prabhatye Srimate Narayanaya Namaha. These are the 3 mantras he offered to his followers. Then they should chant these 3 mantras.
Chant them as japa,
Yeah.
108 times.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And plus deity worship, and these are like a spiritual part, as well as you have to lead a lifestyle. Your lifestyle is also is given, according to different levels, different duties are given for the family. Take care of the family and lead a moral life and don't cheat others. These things are there. And
If I chanted Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha, I could chant like 50 rounds a day. That's a short little mantra. I could double my rounds instantly. All right. Thank you for that little tip.
Yes. So
Okay,
then
I'm sorry, go
Mahaprabhu
on.
gave, interestingly, Nam Sankirtan. That is like you don't have to just chant all the time. You can also dance. As yesterday we realized, we saw that the mood is that the mood that in technically we say 2 things. One is Vicharatmaka Sampradaya, another is Rasatmaka Sampradaya. Vicharatmaka means it's more intellectual, more analytical, more study oriented. This kind of thing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought out the experiential kind of tradition. There is intellectual side also. We have got Sad Goswami's books are there. So much literature they have written. But Mahaprabhu made it more friendly to the present
Commoners.
yes, commoners, exactly. So then you see, you don't have to do anything, just come and dance in front of Krishna, just enjoy flower festivals. So without your knowledge, you are telling Mr. Walter, correct? He was ecstatic. Raghunath Prabhu is, see, even if you didn't attend the festival program, if you see Raghunath Prabhu's face and Kaustubha's face, and we can get into that, So that kind of experience Mahaprabhu gave, yes.
So in South India, there's no dancing in the temples like we do in the temple?
It is not much practice like what we do.
Because the temple is even designed different, right? You wait in a very long line and then you get a quick darshan, you say your prayer, and then you move on.
Yes. So,
But
Wow.
the temples
Thank you,
that
Lord
they
Chaitanya.
the temples that they designed up in Bengal following Chaitanya, they opened it up. They had a big courtyard. You could dance. You could do sankirtan.
yes.
You know what? It's obvious that this is the method for Kali Yuga, because we love to sing, we love to dance.
Yes.
We're not great at studying stuff. We can't even get through a book anymore. Everything's got to be audio books or short YouTube clips. It's definitely like, we are the commoners. Of course, Lord Chaitanya is he's the avatar for the commoners. We're all commoners. We're all a bunch of broken toys. That's my new thing. Instead of dented cans. Nityananda, do you ever see that? Sometimes you go to a store. You've probably never been to a store because you're a brahmachari your whole life, probably. But stores, for children, they have like toys, like of dolls. And sometimes the dolls have like a broken arm or missing a leg. And those toys they sell for cheap because they're broken. And in the West, we grew up sort of like these broken toys. We're not like, we don't get the culture. We're sort of out of it. We've followed no spiritual principles or regulative principles. We've broken most of them by the time we come to spiritual life. We've been through a marriage or 2 marriages. For Indians, they don't even get that. What? Three times? You've been married 3 times? And what? So we're a little broken. Of course, for the broken comes the avatar of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, giving it the most simple way. You sing and you dance.
Yeah.
And you can see, like yesterday, people, as soon as it got to a certain level of ecstasy, because there is some pleasure just sitting down and singing in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
But it's next level where you can actually escape your mind. If you're ever suffering from mental issues, people, get up and chant and dance, because you get right out of your mind when you do that. Huh?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Now I have a question related to this previous question. So you're a young man in your teens or so. You're studying Ramanuja's books, his commentaries. You're chanting Vedic mantras. You're going to school. Now, how did you contact the followers of Sri Chaitanya, which is from a whole nother part of India, from up in Bengal?
Oh, okay.
How'd you become a Hare Krishna? That's the question.
Well, I was going to my schools, and so I had a lot of other friends in the school who are coming from different faiths and all. So sometime we play cricket together, and we go to the pond to swim and all. So we have interactions.
Sounds like a nice lifestyle, right?
Play
Raghunath?
cricket,
Play a little
go to the
cricket.
pond and swim. When you
Read a
say they're
little
from other,
Ramanujacharya.
now when you say they're from other faiths, they were Christian or Muslim, or like other types of Hindus.
Yes, Muslims, and some are Muslims, some are Christians, like that.
What about like Shaktas and Vaishnava?
They were also there.
Shaivites?
Shaivites were there. We are got, so sometimes they give sometimes we speak some religious, exchanges.
Did you wear big Ramanuja tilak when you're going to school and all that?
When I was going to the school, basically, unfortunately, in India, the culture is that, the local things are not well appreciated. It's kind of secular things are going on. So I used to wear not the full-fledged tilak, but a small part of it. One line. So they were talking to us, and then I was reading their books also. I was giving my Ramanuja's books also. Then I was thinking in my mind that these faiths were spread all over the world. So why can't Ramanuja's teachings, the Vaishnava faith also, why it can't cross the shore?
Because there's only in India, as far as you understood.
Not even everywhere in India, only some part of South India and some North India, some places like that. So I used to think...
Okay, let me get it. So you're saying, my Christian friends, their Christianity spread all over the world. My Muslim friends, so many places. Why not my Ramanuja's teachings?
I used to think like that. Then I was thinking that, the Christian faith or Islamic understanding is that there is no form for God so much spoken, as far as my studies goes.
No, what? What does that say?
Form. No form. God had no form in those faiths.
So it's kind of, something, some power, some kind of somebody sitting up, nobody knows actually. So it's more easy.
Some faceless being.
Yeah, like that.
Right?
But we have got here, Krishna and Mahavishnu,
Lakshmi Devi.
So I think not everybody.
Hanuman.
That drives Christians crazy.
How people get there. So I think because of this reason, it can't go everywhere. I used to think like that. But I had a desire, this is also a beautiful teaching. People can understand. People should also take to this, to understand this, So then one day I saw Padyatra devotees, ISKCON devotees are coming.
Okay, so this is Padyatra. You want to quickly explain that, Raghunath? Padyatra devotee?
Padyatra is amazing. It's traditional. When me and Kaustubha got into Krishna consciousness, this started going big. It's like a renaissance of what was happening in traditional pilgrimages, where you go out with all your devotee friends and a bullock cart. That is 2 oxen pulling a cart, and with all your luggage on the cart.
And they had these beautiful oxen with these massive horns, like huge.
Like giant. And you literally walk. I kid you not. You walk village to village. And it went all over India. It went all the way to the Himalayas and all the way down to South India. And that's what you did. And if you were a Krishna devotee living in an ashram, you could say, you know what? I want to join Padyatra for a month. Where are they? Oh, right now they're in Ujjain, or right now they're in Nasik, right now they're in Badrinath. Okay, great. I'm going to join them for a month. And you go out there and you meet them, and then you travel and you go town to town, and then the town puts
Doing
you up.
kirtan.
They find a place for you to stay. You do kirtan of the town. You cook a big feast. It's almost like a traveling road show. And you come in, and then you get welcomed by the village. It's not like, hey, get out of here.
I said this.
You're
I said
welcome.
explain it briefly, Raghunath. I know you're excited about it.
How can you not I mean, you got to give some back history. There's nothing like this in America, you know, where we're like a little traveling roadshow of kirtan. is
You know, there
coming.
used to be back in the like the Wild West and stuff like that, right? Like some entertainers would travel around, but this
Yeah,
wasn't
some
just
circus
entertainers.
people would come.
Yeah.
But these aren't entertainers. They're like holy people. and
But
they're
they
sort
are
of like,
entertaining
oh.
too, right? They
Yeah,
do a
because
program in
with
every
that-
town.
With that are storytellers that come and they tell stories or give lectures, and there's a feast cooked up, and the village comes around, and you know, it's sort of sad, but I guess this is dying out quickly within our lifetime, because everything's just run by there's highways all over India now, and
Okay,
you know,
Raghunath, we gotta get back here. I know.
what's it good? What we're
No,
having
you're
a
doing great.
conversation.
I'm just
it's a
saying
podcast.
we're never gonna find out what happened.
Oh, okay.
He's
All right,
a
let's get to the bottom of this.
16-year-old or so. How old are you?
Raghunath, Prabhu, next time you are going to bring Padyatra also.
You gotta start a Padyatra. You got enthusiasm. We can tell.
Flower festival.
Yeah, and Raghunath, you know, imagine how many steps you'll do every day. Maybe like 35,000 steps when you're doing Padyatra.
Oh man, if I was doing Padyatra, my health app would be out of control, wouldn't it?
Okay.
33,000.
Padyatra literally means the steps. They're walking, right? Okay, so you're how old when you saw these two words?
16, 17 like this.
Okay, so you're 16, 17-year-old high school student studying your Ramanuja, wondering, why doesn't my Ramanuja's teaching spread around the whole world? And then here come these unusual Padyatra people. They got oxen, they're dancing, they're chanting, what else is going on?
So the first sight of me of this Padyatra is that the Prabhupada deity was there, two huge oxen with, you know, big horns like this.
Massive. Like, you see these oxen, everybody in the village must have been like, that's the most impressive ox I've ever seen in my life.
And in the deities of Gavarnitai were there. So I noticed in front of the cart, there are devotees, you know, some of them are Indians, some are Westerners. They were dancing and distributing books. So the sight of the devotees quite excited me, because I saw them having a shika, you know, this kind of traditional hairstyle, you know.
That the Brahmanas wear in
in India.
Hmm.
And then you will see they're wearing t-shirt, which is kind of, you know, Western style t-shirt.
Which is Western style, right?
Yeah.
Let's
And
not-
mixing styles here. They're little rasabas, maybe. Little
Yeah, with
little
high
mixture.
top sneakers and a hooded sweatshirt and a dhoti.
After the t-shirt below, you see they wear dhoti, you know, traditional dhoti, you know, this dress. And then further below, you see they're wearing shoes.
Yeah,
Probably
shoes,
Nikes.
socks.
So it is like a traditional hairstyle, then the modern t-shirt, traditional dhoti, what do you call this?
Dhoti, yeah.
And then modern shoes. So this combination, basically, you know, I got, you know, blown up. What is this thing going on here? You know?
Who are they? And what are they all about?
Very interesting.
So this
It's interesting
combination is
phenomena.
something. This combination is something very unique for me, you know. So I become intrigued and, you know, went to speak to them. But I had to go to school also, you know. Suddenly I saw this scene. So I saw them and the Padyatra, and the big bus was there. The books were displayed. So I saw the books and went to my school. Then evening I came back, and again the bus was there. The book table was there. So then I saw the books, beautiful pictures, attractive pictures, you know. Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, all these things. Krishna's pictures, paintings were there. So I thought I should get one book. But, you know, school going kids, we don't carry money and all so much. So I saw, okay, I'll go back home. I'll bring some money and get these books, you know. So by the time I go home, I asked my mom, Mom, I want to get some book, you know, can I get some money? My mom said, you know, just few days before I brought some Sri Vaishnava books before that. So, you know, my mother, what? You just brought books. First you read those books, then we'll see about other books later, you know. She was kind of, so first time in my life, I was desperate to get these books. So first time in my life, I stole.
Oh,
First time in his life he stole, and he stole a Bhagavad Gita.
No,
So
I
you stole
stole
money.
So
I thought you
grabbed-
robbed the devotees.
Well, his mother's a devotee too.
Yeah.
So then I took some money from my mother's place, and I rushed back to find the books table. And when I went there, and no sign of books, no Padyatra, no devotees, no Gaunitai, oxen is gone. Everything is
And you stole the money. Oh,
You became a thief, and you didn't even get the books.
you became a thief. You lost your pass for that
Yeah,
one.
Raghunath really got the. So I got the money, but I didn't find books. So I went all around the town, all over everywhere. I could not find. I came disappointed and quietly put the money back in where it's supposed to be.
Nobody ever knew. Only
But
Parama
I
knew
know.
about
But
this.
I know.
Does your mother even know to this day?
Probably she doesn't know this time. I never spoke the story.
Now she knows. It's out there.
It's out there. Lord Vishnu knows.
Well, we called your mother before the show, and we brought her on. And let's bring
Here, come on.
Let's bring her.
Come on down.
And she must be telling now that the best thing you did in your life is stealing that money. So then so I was back to my home, and I was thinking, I missed the book, I missed the devotees, interesting people. So then 2 hours later, my uncle comes from another village, and he comes to me and he tells me that some of these Hare Krishna people came to our village, and they was telling me about this book. They just pushed me this book. I didn't know to buy, but they were again and again telling. So just to please them, I got this book. So maybe you'll be interested. You did take it. He gave to me.
Wow, Krishna miracle. Krishna miracle.
The Christian miracle right there.
So
I think it's just interesting a teenager wants spiritual books.
It's a great thing.
It's great.
Well, you were kind of buying spiritual books when you were a teenager, right?
Yeah, I was, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
so that's how I got the books, and I immediately read the books. And what Srila Prabhupada's books, amazing thing. People when people read Prabhupada books, Prabhupada writes what the particular audience need. He covers all sorts of audience from all spectrum of people. Can Prabhupada could relate to it. So when I read Prabhupada books, wherever he is quoting about Ramanujacharya's teaching, I become so amazed. Sarvadharman Parityajya. Prabhupada's quoting that verse, and Prabhupada's quoting about Sripad Ramanujacharya, how he was merciful, and how he is not discriminating. I want to give Krishna to everybody, how compassionate he is. So when all these things comes, I used to note down. I used to underline with my pen. So these people are really nice. I thought there's some kind of fashion, some hairstyle, some new fashion, but I thought these people are really sincere and serious people.
So then, did you realize at that point? Oh, in other words, if I understand correctly, you're saying you could read Prabhupada writing, even like if it was not like a text, but like just his own prose.
Yeah.
And you could see, oh, he's teaching what Ramanuja taught. It's right. I can see it right in there.
Yeah.
And then did you realize, oh, and he's spreading it around the whole world, which was always my desire?
So that's now I thank you for reminding me. It's an interesting thing. So for all this time, I was thinking that why Ramanuja's teaching or Vaishnava faith also cannot cross the shores. I used to think like that, and I saw these devotees and this Tilak, Vaishnavism. So basically, I was kind of amazed and I was happy. But I want to check the authenticity. So people generally, I was actually
in South India, authenticity is very important consideration.
So actually, in one sense, I feel when I study the flower festival, the devotees are so sincere. And I mean, I see Raghunath Prabhu and Kaustubha, they bringing devotees from at least from 2000, 10, 11 like that. I mean,
We've been bringing them for maybe
many years.
something 11, 12, something like that.
So I see the quantity and quality of devotees who are coming there for flower festival. Every year they come, and I'm seeing this after many years. I was not in Chowpat Radha Gopinath temple for some years, so I'm coming after a few years, and I'm seeing this after many years, and I saw it is like amazing. What transformation, what kind of the quantity of people and the quality of people. When Kaustubha was giving class, and we are plucking flowers, everybody sitting together, plucking flowers. So you are doing plucking the flower petals. At the same time, you have to hear class. So it is like two things together, together used to do. So I saw when he was giving class, the devotees were,
He's talking about the wisdom of the sages, people that came on the retreat, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I saw they are so attentive and they are responding to the class what they're hearing. He's speaking about the petals, flowers, all. and the festival. So they were attentively hearing also, at the same time they were plucking flower petals also. So I saw that there's so eagerness, and the questions what they asked, so standard questions, so beautiful questions. So I was amazed, these people are so sincere. And so when I was going back to my, this why this faith of Ramanuja, Vaishnavism can also be accepted outside India. So I was thinking these people are coming for a fashion, some kind of new fashion or something. So I want to check what these people are. So these devotees yesterday, yesterday flower festival, they are so genuine, so genuine and so humble, and they want to learn. But I was not like that, and I was arrogant, coming from the traditional, so-called traditional background, So I think that's why I took more time to,
Oh, so in other words, you were 16 or something, you got, oh, wow, this Prabhupada, he's teaching what my Ramanuja taught, he's teaching it all around the world. But then what happened?
So then I wanted to go and find out whether these people really following. Even I was even doubting Prabhupada also. He said Prabhupada is, some new Swami, whether he's really teaching proper philosophy or proper Siddhanta. That kind of arrogant mood was there. So that was actually very...
Arrogant, I don't know, but at the same time, we need to check, make sure what we're getting into is the real thing.
Yeah, but what I say is that if somebody comes in a, it is a one sense advantage, disadvantage, both are there. Somebody's clean slate, they can learn easily and they can learn very nicely. I don't know anything, I'm confused. That's better place, better way you can receive things. But if you already have something, it'll take more time.
Yeah, I get it.
But you have to agree, you can't blindly follow also. So then I was reading, scrutinizing the Prabhupada books, and I liked many things are speaking very nicely. And there are some differences were there also there. So I took some time. So struggle actually for me. Ramanuja and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Talking about Radharani, talking gopis a lot. This kind of thing.
Narayana, Krishna. When we used to go for the school, many times India, there's a main sport is cricket match. Especially when India and Pakistan, they play,
That's a big rivalry.
It's a big rivalry.
So I was studying in a school where Muslim friends were there.
And they're rooting for Pakistan and they're living in India?
Pakistan
What's going on
versus
here?
South India?
So one Muslim friend told me, tomorrow there is a match between India, Pakistan, and Friday. Friday is their special day. So they said that tomorrow Pakistan is definitely going to win.
Oh, because that's like their like Sunday is for the Christians, Friday is for the Muslims.
So that was the Friday match came. So for me, morning before going to school, I had to go in front of our house. There is a small picture. The small altar is there.
It's an altar of Sachin Tendulkar. Is that his name? Did I get that right?
That came later. So we used to pray to, before going to school, we had to pray to, Lakshmi Narayana deity. Yeah. So that any problem come in our life, any school age exam or anything, we go to Narayana.
Lakshmi Narayana.
Yeah, Lakshmi Narayana will pray and okay, let me pass my exam, let me get good grades in my school, and all we pray. So now tomorrow is a match between India and Pakistan.
Oh, okay, heavy prayers, heavy prayers.
So I said, my Lord, tomorrow is a match between India, Pakistan. That's a Friday match. Saturday I have to meet my friends. The match will go. This cricket match is so long, 9 o'clock it starts, 9 a.m. till 5 a.m. it goes on.
They play all day. It's crazy.
Cricket?
And
yeah, it's like it just goes on and on and on. Even days. Sometimes it goes on for several days.
Test match. This is one
That
day
wouldn't
match.
last. That wouldn't
Test
last
match.
in America.
So I would pray to.
We're over
Nishinanda.
baseball at this point. In America.
Yeah, I used to pray to Lakshmi Narayan deities. Tomorrow India should win the match.
Otherwise, dear Lord Narayan, you want to embarrass me in front of my friends? I'm your devotee, and
So that's and we are in the school. We cannot cut the school, miss the school and see the match. So we are in the school, and I don't know what is happening in the match. There was no live commentary and all the school.
all the kids, it just must be tearing them up because.
And Friday evening we had to come see the result. Next Saturday morning when you go to the schools, we just meet the friends. So then see that Friday somehow or other India won the match, and Saturday I was going with so much of happiness. Oh. Wait a minute, why I'm telling this story is that now in my life there is a time came when I was studying Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Now there is a problem for me. So whenever any problem comes, I was going to Lakshmi Narayan to solve the problem.
Who do I go to for this match?
Here the problem is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya and Ramanuja Sampradaya. Somebody asked about the difference between
The different lineages. Sampradaya means the lineage.
So now Narayana and Krishna, basically they are the same personalities, but Gaudiya Sampradaya emphasizes more on Krishna. Krishna is the original source of Narayana. And Narayana is considered more important, the source of everything for Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So I am from that background. So now,
His background is more emphasis on Lord Vishnu,
yes.
but this new thing that he's reading about, more emphasis on Krishna.
So now I am in a dilemma. So now any problem comes, I should do this or that. I go to Narayan to solve the problem. Now I got a problem with Narayan and Krishna, either Narayan or Krishna, Vishnu or Krishna. There is a problem. So I was thinking whom to go now. Because any other problem comes, I can go to Vishnu. But Vishnu, you yourself the problem now.
These are not the kind of problems Raghunath and I were dealing with when we were teenagers. Okay.
When we're teenagers, yes. This is true.
So then, I was thinking, no, what is this? It's great that, Vaishnava Sampradaya is spreading all over the world and Prabhupada is teaching, but Prabhupada and Ramanuja are contradicting in this particular aspect. How can I digest this? How Ramanuja can be wrong and how Prabhupada can be wrong? Because Prabhupada is wrong, then you cannot do this great activity of preaching this message unless you have real purity. You can't
Spreading it all over the world. He must be doing something right.
So this is really a big issue in my life. What is this going on here? I could not go to anywhere. Narayan, you are yourself the problem for me now. That was the kind of you are asking about how I don't know whether people want to know or.
Okay, but this
kind of emotions.
but this was a moment in your life where you were beginning to move from one lineage. Your interest was moving from one lineage to the next.
Yeah. So that kind of then so how to solve the problem. So then what I did, if there is a problem between India Pakistan cricket match, Narayana, you solve the problem. But now there's a problem with Narayana, Vishnu and Krishna. So I said that I don't know what is the solution. Both of you do something
both
together and you solve the problem.
You two get together and just tell me what you want to do. Either way is fine with me. Just let me know.
Yeah. So that kind of interesting scenario. So it took 6 months for me, 6 months, and gradually I was inquiring this side and that side, and you know what helped me? I'll tell you, neither the books nor philosophy. It gave so much of conviction for me. I came to ISKCON temple and attended Kirtan, Panchatattva Kirtan. Seeing Mahaprabhu's paintings and their deities and the Kirtan and the preaching spirit, everything filled together. From my heart, I don't know. Even today also, I don't know how I did it. But from my heart, automatically some conviction came, some understanding came. And now, coming from the background of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, I got so much affection and regards for Ramanujacharya. Then later I understood there is not much difference in both. It's just a flavor is different. So actually, when we go to Krishna with genuinely, and he actually solves the problems, amazingly with sweetly also. Actually, that's my experience.
Well, then we're a little low on time, and boy, we could go so many directions with you. Next year when we come here, we bring Prabhu back on. I think. Huh?
I'm curious to what his mom thought. Was your mom happy, or was it?
Yeah.
Like,
what are your
actually, I don't know whether I should say this or not. In our time, now we did some little kind of immature things. You see, when I was just finished my college, I came to ISKCON temple and I became so inspired, and I wanted to dedicate my life as a monk. And moms, they don't, they cannot. They
want you to get married and have kids.
So that's their natural, understanding. So I left home, all of a sudden, immaturely,
How old were you at that time?
I was 18 years actually. I finished my college. 18 years I left and joined temple. And and I am also emotionally attached to my mother, and I'm the only son. My sister, she got married, of course. So then I was also emotionally attached. So I was not very sure that I will be able to pursue renunciation, sacrificing my attachment to family and all. So I thought I should not. If I go back to my mother, she's alone and she's alone and helpless. I'll be difficult for me to digest. So I will come back from temple and I won't go back to the ashram again. So I was kind of hard-heartedly, I think I should not go. If I go, I will be stuck. I won't able to come back. So for long years, I neglected my mother. So that's kind of so. But what I would every day during japa time, I used to in Radha Gopinath temple hall. So every day before japa, I prayed to Srimati Radharani that you are the mother for the whole world. So I left my mother. So I want you to take care of my mother.
Okay, very nice.
So I used to pray this. So then I met of course, Raghunath Maharaj, my spiritual master, he doesn't know all these things, Many times brahmacharis, those time we used to do these kind of things, Later we realized we should not be doing those things. So then after many years later, my mother was staying alone, for a year, for almost many years actually. So then one of our senior devotee, Govind Prabhu, he came to know this and he chastised me that you have to go and see your mother.
Oh, you see that? So the head monk was saying, you need to take care of your mother. Don't forget your mother.
So then I was thinking that, oh my God, how can I go there and meet her? And if I meet, she'll be old and alone. How am I going to come back to ashram? So it was painful. And some of my other
When
senior-
Gauranga Prabhu says that you have to do it, right?
going through, and
it's Govind Prabhu.
Govind Prabhu.
Govinda.
And some of my other monks, the other colleagues, they were telling me that, see, if you go there, you'll be stuck. Be careful. Better you take some more time and you go later. This was two kinds of contradicting, again in my life.
The other monks were saying, if you go there, you may not come back here.
So Govind Prabhu, final Govind Prabhu's weapon is that if you don't go and see your mother, you are not going to talk to me. That is a emotional.
You love him so much. He's such a wonderful person.
So this is a last weapon Govind Prabhu uses, At the same time, my other senior monks who are also very affectionate to me, they say you should not go. So I came in these two contradictory conflicting situation again in my life. So then I decided I will somehow or other I will fulfill both of their desires. I will go home at the same time. Don't go home also. How it possible? Krishna gave me some kind of, interesting.
How did he do it? Tune in next week when we find it. No, tell us right now.
That really interesting thing. It was so sweet actually. No, that I can share sometime.
Can you tell us right now how you did it? How you went and didn't go?
I don't know. People have.
No. Tell us.
Well, okay, I'll keep it short. You see, I was going by train to meet my mother. Now, first time in my life, I went out of Hare Krishna ISKCON temple Chowpatty for yatra and all. But this is I'm going to see my mother exclusive, So my whole attention is I'm going to see my mother, my family. So I was little afraid, I'm as a monk, I'm going home after many years. So I was afraid, I should come back, I should be attached, and all these kind of thoughts are going on. So as I was approaching my Chennai town, my mother shifted to Chennai after later. And then I was going and I was thinking that I should go home at the same time. I should follow Govind Prabhu's instruction of meeting her. At the same time, I should follow my other monks, not going home. So as I was reaching home, my mother, what she has been telling for all these years, she is telling that my son actually, she doesn't want to tell I became a monk and all because, others will feel over, she'll attract unnecessary compassion on her.
Oh, that's so sad. Your child gave his life to God in this way.
So she told all
She
other
didn't
neighbors.
tell anybody. What did she tell them?
She tells that my son is working in some foreign countries,
He's working in a foreign
That sounds
country.
better. That sounds better.
So like that, okay, like that, others are not feeling so bad about my mother, So then I was going there and I went to my mother's home. I find out the address and all. And my mother's being a school teacher, she had been to school, and the house owner was there. And she told, hey, she's a North Indian, you are the son of, such and such lady. She's been crying for you, waiting for you for years together. Good, you have come, stay here. She will come very soon to meet you. Then I told her, I am also for a long time want to see her. What I will do, she is going to come back she just left 5 minutes back to school. You stay here, she was telling me like this. I told her, see, I am going to meet her for sure. For that only I have come now. So let her come from home. I'll come back by the time.
So you met her, but you didn't go back home.
So I didn't. My mother is in school. I met only the house owner.
Okay.
So I have not met my mother. So then I having told this, I directly went from my mother's home to a local ISKCON temple, Chennai ISKCON temple. And when my mother came, I called her up. If you want to see me, you can come to ISKCON temple. That's our distance.
So you stayed in the ISKCON temple, and still you met your
So
mother.
now what I did was, I went to my home. Not entered the home. The home was locked. The house was locked, and my mother went to school. At the same time, my mother came to. Next day, my mother comes to see me, and with my mother came another lady. So I was saying, who is another lady is coming with my mother? Then I came closer. I realized she's my sister. She got married and got kids and she became little. My God, it's got many years actually. So then when I met my mother, she was crying. She went away from home, and many time I stay alone, and I don't want to give trouble to others. If I die in middle of the night, that's why I keep the door open in the night, so people should not get trouble to take my dead body.
Oh, these Indian mothers, they know how to pull the heartstrings.
Tears are coming in my eyes. I was feeling so, my God, what a torture. I know these things I have to hear. I can't bear this. Of course we are. So I spoke to her nicely, and she also understood now. This fellow will not come back, and also, and she was okay. You go and keep in touch like that. So then, when Raghunath Maharaj came to know these things, he was so upset. Then later, then I called my
He was
mother.
upset that you had neglected her.
Yeah, like this. So then I called her to Chapati temple. She came to Yatra. You know what she told me? She, why you didn't introduce me to these devotees many years before? She started chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra next day.
Whoa.
So he
Wow.
told me, why didn't you introduce me to these devotees for a long time? I would have come long back to meet these devotees. So now she is full-fledged devotee. Chants Hare Krishna, comes for yatras. Maharaj knows her very well, and Maharaj spoke to her.
Fascinating.
And now she tells me that good you didn't get married and got stuck with my other relatives I'm seeing around, fight between husband, wife, and all these things. Okay, I'm happy that you are there. You didn't give me trouble of a daughter-in-law. Of course, because so many devotees were wonderful grihasthas, married people and family and all. But my mother took it, whatever comes on her plate, and she's so happy that you are doing these things. So what I'm saying is that I offered my prayers to Srimati Radharani that I was trying to offer my life to you.
It worked, yeah.
You take care of my mother, and she took care actually.
There you go.
That's
That's the moral of the story. And then I just to maybe last point is that so many years later, must have been 2006 or something like that, that Radha Swami took the whole yatra. He took like 5,000-6,000 people to Sri Rangam, which is the hub of Sri Vaishnavism, your older lineage. And you were with Maharaj at that time, meeting all the big leaders, the acharyas of Sri Sampradaya.
Yes. That was amazing experience. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Sri Rangam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the description is so beautiful that Mahaprabhu, when he went to Sri Rangam, irrespective of his being a different sampradaya, his being a different, sect, everybody loved him so much. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, the scripture biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that all the Sri Vaishnava devotees there, they invited Mahaprabhu to lunch to their home. And Mahaprabhu stayed there for 4 months. And the scripture says that Mahaprabhu could not cover accept all the invitation. That means hundreds of people want Mahaprabhu to come there. So when we went with Raghunath Maharaj in 2005 Yatra and 2010, 2 times we went, we got a similar experience. The devotees there, so much love and affection they gave to Maharaj.
They brought out the elephant for him.
Elephant for him, and and the love, affection, and the welcoming they gave for the devotees, and in spite many of them coming from Western countries, some are Indian. In South India there is another problem of the sectarian things are more strong there. The caste system in India, problems are there. So they have a lot of strong caste oriented mentalities there. But that yatra, it was amazing. Everybody, the Maharaj is coming from a Western origin, but the welcoming and the reception they gave was great surprise. Maharaj was, out of his love and affection, he attracted their heart. They gave such a reception inside the Sri Rangam temple. What reception, respect, and honor they do for their own Sampradaya Acharyas, same thing they did for Raghunath Swami.
So this is the strongest center of the ancient tradition. And Radha Swami, he's coming from Chicago. He's an American boy, but they rolled out. They honored him as if he's the greatest teacher.
Yeah, and why it happened. My understanding is that Raghunath Maharaj, he never went behind this respect and honor. In fact, some devotees were trying to organize these programs without Maharaj knowledge. So they told Maharaj, they were afraid to tell Maharaj there is going to be a reception for you, they're going to honor you. If you tell like that, Maharaj will definitely say no. So they were trying to hide this and say there will be some program and some, some chanting of mantras, this like that, So Maharaj said that, what? The devotees are waiting to hear Krishna Katha, and you want some program, some kind of mantra chanting and some kind of reception and all. Cancel. I don't want any of these things. Maharaj outrightly rejected all these things. So the program was, they wanted to do this reception outside the temple, because inside the temple, a Westerner and from other sampradaya, the honor cannot be given. Some restrictions are there. So the devotees wanted, we will do it outside the temple campus. So that's the plan. So Maharaj didn't even want that respect, also rejected. So because it's rejected, so I intervened and said, Maharaj, so Maharaj, we will stop this reception and all. You give class lecture in the temple as scheduled. And if they want to do some reception, let them do for 5 minutes before we start the class. So devotees won't get, they won't waste their time. Maharaj feeling devotees will waste their time by seeing his reception. So Maharaj agreed, devotees should not waste their time in seeing my reception, and they should only hear Krishna Katha. So I made this arrangement. So what reception they supposed to do outside the campus, because there was no program, such programs going to happen. So all the priests, everybody did the same reception inside the temple campus now. So I was thinking, because Maharaj rejected his own reception, and Krishna arranged him to get the reception inside the temple, which is given for the traditional Sampradaya Acharyas. So that was,
and at that point in your life, it was like full circle. I've come back to my old tradition, and but my old tradition is accepting me now in this way.
Yeah. So that was like, interesting. So back to, Shiva. And in fact, when devotees heard Raghunath Maharaj giving those lectures, you can even hear also beautiful lectures. Maharaj spoke about Ramanujacharya's stories for almost 5-6 days in that lecture, in that yatra. And after hearing the classes of Maharaj speaking about Ramanujacharya, Kuresh and all, some devotees came to me and asked me this question. Prabhu, I have one question for you. What is that? He said that, how can you actually able to leave Shiva Vaishnava Sampradaya and came to Gaudiya Sampradaya? Such a rich culture and such a beautiful pastime. They are not less to Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Such a rich culture. How did you come?
So in other words, Rana Swami is from the Gaudiya tradition, but he was glorifying the other one so much. It was almost
Maharaj is glorifying Ramanujacharya as good as the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya. So rich tradition. Both are very equally great. When some flavors are different. So that was amazing experience. That is two sampradayas coming together.
Well, that's you right there. Love it. Prabhu, thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed having you, and we'll bring you back. You're my old friend. I'm happy to see you again.
Beautiful story, Prabhu. Thanks a lot.
This is my pleasure, meeting Kaustubha Prabhu after many years, and Raghunath Prabhu, and I think Krishna gave me this opportunity as I was genuinely appreciating the devotees on the flower festival, how they are so sincere and, amazing, development these programs. So I think Krishna wanted that you become inspired and become humble and become, encouraged by seeing these devotees. I think some of them are also watching this.
Oh yeah, definitely. They all watch.
My appreciation for all of you and my gratitude all of you that I wish to get some grain of your sincerity and devotion.
All right, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you giving up 18 hours of cricket for 18 hours of hearing and chanting.
Okay, Raghunath, that's it. We move on now, huh?
Onward. We're both having a travel day tomorrow. We're going to be back on Tuesday. Got to figure out the time. And thanks for everybody following our crazy schedules around. It's been fun with all these people. Now we're going to break up into some smaller groups. We're going to be me, Mara, Kelly Skinner, and G2G Life Coaching are heading to South India, while Kaustubha and Gita are heading to South India, but a different part of South India. We're going to all meet here on Zoom on Tuesday. Quite excited to dive right back into Srimad Bhagavatam.
And we'll let everybody know the time very soon that it'll be. Tomorrow morning we'll figure that out.
Okay, yeah? Look who joined us, Don Cayley. He's skiing right here. Don Cayley, good to see you, my brother.